Yeah, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the EverythingAltcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 3 Base AI agent infrastructures that you guys can look into, because Base is leaning heavily into becoming that agentic chain. And I think we're going to have 3 winners from this ecosystem here. They are all looking pretty good. Now, as I said, Base is leaning to become more of an agentic chain. You guys can see this on Dune research here, where you guys see that Base has their own, research board here, Base agentic ecosystem here. You guys can look through all the transactions that is being made here. Now, when you scroll down a little bit here, I actually unclicked all of these just regular agents because I see them as just regular agents. I do know some of them do got that title of infrastructure, but I'm looking more so as a full infrastructure of everything, right? And the whole AI agent. And that brings up 3 that you guys can see here. Of course, Clanker is here, but Clanker I just see as more of a regular launchpad for Base. While you have these 3 virtuals that has 58% of all transactions on Base as of right now. For these are all Base agentic transactions here. And then you have Venice here, which may surprise some people, at 31% of all Base agentic transactions here. And then you have Banker here at 10% of the pie here. Now, I actually wish Banker was a little bit higher, but we already knew virtuals is going to be the big dog here, essentially. But Venice has surprised me, and these are the 3 we're going to be talking about in this video here. Now, looking at virtuals here, you guys should already know virtuals. Nothing too new that we can pretty much say. As of right now, it is at $459 million market cap, sitting at 70 cents here. You scroll down, all-time high was $5. I do believe that in the perfect bull market, if we do get it, I know we're going to get it, but I'm just saying it just for those bears out there. Essentially, this will go back to $5 and may go a little bit higher. You guys already see how they're dominating the transactions on Base. Honestly, virtuals is pretty much one of the reasons why Base is becoming that agentic chain. You guys already know they try to lean into that whole social media thing, right? Didn't work out, failure, but okay. They already had their whole golden ticket the whole time in front of them, which was virtuals, right? What virtuals was doing is the whole agent thing. So now they're leaning into becoming more of the agentic chain. They even put out a Base mainnet upgrade, Azul I think it's called, right? We'll talk about that in a Base video very soon here, but this is going to help Base even more when it comes down to becoming that agentic chain. Now, as I said, they finally leaned into virtuals, right? Meaning we've been waiting for Coinbase to list virtuals for so long. It's crazy, even though virtuals never really needed the Coinbase listing, but it was just like, why haven't y'all done it? Now they decide in the bear, and like close to the bottom of the bear, a few days ago, they like, all right, finally, we just going to list you. But it's about damn time that they finally listed virtuals. But if you guys don't know, virtuals also included, well, they brought out a new thing called Eastworld, which is pretty much their embodied AI accelerator. This is pretty much for their robotics section. They're working with a bunch of humanoids, robotics, all of this. You guys already know I am very bullish on robotics as a narrative. We're going to have a video talking about that again, right? So they're leaning into that. They also had launched a token called Open Mind. Essentially the robo token that they had in partnership with virtuals as well. So you guys can see that's the first thing that they did here, which is looking pretty good. And recently Jesse made a post talking about agentic commerce is so dry, essentially, who this was from, pretty much that's from Mark Andreessen. He basically said the term agentic commerce is dry, but EtherMage, you guys should already know who EtherMage is, responded to it. The physic rails of what's needed, right? Easy to create economically productive digital agents, easy to create economically productive physical agents. Agents can coordinate and do commerce at machine speed at scale to produce greater than the sum parts. Essentially, he's talking about how agents are just going to be more productive and how this can operate here. It's like a society. They just need a new template pretty much. So we need to rework everything pretty much for agents to survive and live and thrive. And that's what the base is going to be able to do. Base chain is going to be able to do that, but with also virtuals here. Next, if you guys don't know, is Banker. Banker, essentially, its angle is pretty much becoming the agentic powered finance, you know, allowing agents to trade, pay, and have wallets. All of this is pretty much adding for their crypto automation, right? This is going to be very important for the agentic economy here as agents become economic actors. They're going to be able to need their own wallets. They're going to be able to need to trade on their own platforms, do whatever they can for you as the user to handle them, right? And that's what Banker is allowing these agents to do pretty much. And you guys already seen it multiple times. I even got a previous video that's already out. You guys should already check it, because you guys know OpenAI is dropping a AI phone, an AI powered phone, where these apps are pretty much all powered by agents, right? You want to order Uber, you tell your agent to order you an Uber. You want to order some DoorDash, you tell your agent to order some DoorDash. Even though all of this, we pretty much have been doing it. I don't know how many people use it, but people have been using their Alexa device to pretty much do the same thing. Well, particularly order food or order items on Amazon itself. You got Siri that could do the same, things like that. So we not new to this, we're true to this already. The rails have already been built, right? It's just now it's going to be more focused on with the agentic phone. So now that's the thesis behind why I was pretty bullish on Banker, as agents is going to power everything and Banker is going to allow that to happen. Find something pretty interesting here. Banker year-to-date volume / net flows show a standalone picture in terms of money flow. While the price started pushing up late January, we already knew why that was. That was because the whole open claw craze, right? Overall net inflows were plus 82,000, while net sex inflows amounted to 205,000. People sent more tokens to sex than there were net buyers on chain. Despite the token performance, the team behind Banker hasn't stopped improving their product. That is very true. We're going to show you something that they just brought out, right? Or are going to be shipping very soon. Banker is actually 10 times better than it was year to date. Banker has no VC, no perp exposure. Much like VVV, it's purely organic and fairly distributed overall. You'd want to buy when attention is low, because once buyers come in to the frame, things will move fast. And that's very true. Why? You can already see it when it was on a decline, and Banker leaned into that open claw launch and how they could be the interface for these agents. You can see how quickly this shot up. Within a month, it got back up to its previous all-time highs, right? Which is crazy. And now we're back down here. This is when the sentiment is low. Not too many people are talking about it. Of course, we're in a bear market. I already said the bottom is in. Some people may believe it, some people may not, but you'll see very soon here. So the bottom for me right now, you should be looking to buy, not financial advice, but I already bought Banker, right? And essentially what I told you guys, these guys are shipping non-stop. New dApps is coming to the platform for your agents. As I said, your agent will be able to order DoorDash. Look at what Banker is doing. Banker is actually allowing this to happen as well. You guys can see, this is crazy, guys. I'm telling you, the time to be betting on these AI agent infrastructures is right now, because the amount of things that they're going to be bringing on chain, from revenue, transactions, all of that is going to be insane, and you want to be early. Now let's go ahead and get into Venice here before we get into the other ones. Now Venice, honestly, just like Banker, has caught a crazy trend when OpenClaw came out, right? As you guys know, when OpenClaw came out, they did have Venice there as one of the preferred models that you guys can use to power your OpenClaw. If you guys don't know, Venice is pretty much essentially the infrastructure bucket through funding, access, and coordination for the ecosystem, right? But the thing is, they're also a model provider for the agents, right? So essentially, when you power your agents, you have to choose a model to power it, essentially give it its brain. That could be your Claude becoming the brain. You guys seen a lot of people talk about Opus 4.7, 4.6, all of those, right? Then you got ChatGPT that you could give it as the model brain, all of these. Now, a standalone, they're expensive with the API costs, right? Venice allows it to be a little bit cheaper and gives you access to all different models, so you can fall back on different models quickly, right? So this is one of the big parts, and it's a privacy preserving model as well. So right now you guys can see around that same time that Banker took off, this started to take off just a little bit, right? January got up to about like $3, came back down. Then February is when the explosion started for them, because the people started to notice that they were one of the preferred models on the OpenClaw website before they had to make the statement. But nonetheless, this thing has been going up, and essentially now they also have a good burn mechanism for what they're doing for their revenue, and it's all crazy. So right now you're looking at this at $9 at a $416 million market cap, which is fairly high, pretty decent, right? Its all-time high was $22 over a year ago. So Venice is looking good on that standpoint. And the thing is, Venice is actually being used, right? As I told people, pretty much, if you want to root for crypto right now, all right, and this is the time you should be rooting for certain altcoins to win. Even if you're not in it, you should probably maybe take a little bet, but you should want them to be winning, right? Because the AI and crypto convergence is needed, and once we have a few winners in this space here for AI, people are going to start to dive deeper into AI for crypto, start looking into it. That means more investors come into this space. That means more pumpage for our altcoins, guys. So if Venice is being used, root for Venice to win, right? I'm not saying it has to be your favorite altcoin or anything or any of that, but look at this. The API growth over time has just been going crazy. Since January, we looked at the price. The price seems to be very correlated with the API usage. You guys can see since January, we got it right down here, but February is when the explosion started here. Started steady growth. Now in April 2026, you guys can see where we are at here. This is interesting here. Johnny from Hustlepedia says absolute parabolic growth on VVV API usage. This chart makes me think the price action has more upside to it. If the usage for Venice continues to go up, I do believe that the price of Venice will continue to go. And as I told you, the burns here makes it so much better, right? Venice is increasing programmatic VVV burns. Each new pro subscription now burns $2 in Venice up from $1. New Pro Plus and Max subscriptions now trigger programmatic burns at $5 and $10 in VVV respectively, right? Austin puts out this tweet. Venice is the fastest growing application for private AI usage, and growth in subscribers directly drives the token burn. So you can see the way that they have their tokenomics set up. It's actually set up for Venice for long-term growth, right? So you guys are going to be seeing some very good, decent growth for this. I think Venice might surprise people by when the bull market comes. You'll close your eyes. You see it at about 400 million right now. You close your eyes, you open it up. 1-2 weeks in a bull market, it's probably at $1 billion. Who knows, right? I don't got a crystal ball. And as I said, they're leaning directly into agents, right? Your OpenClaw or Hermes agent can now get all crypto RPC tooling via your Venice API keys. Right now, I do have 2 of my agents. Actually, I got 4 agents now, right? 2 of my agents actually using the Venice API keys. So now they get all the crypto RPC tooling. This is something very huge, guys. Something very huge. More use case for agents. So as the agent narrative continues to grow, I believe these platforms will continue to grow with it, right? So Nick puts out this tweet. One of the large misses I saw in this space was having an agent native router for tools. MCP exists, X402 exists, MPP exists. How does an agent discover and use these tools? There's no unified router for tooling, and VVV is uniquely positioned to be this layer, right? So you guys can see the use case there for it. Now we're going to see what Asai thinks of these 3 here in terms of the agent economy on base. Now, right before we go to Asai and what it's thinking here, essentially I just saw this tweet come in. It's funny that we're talking about this in this video here, but Hananis, I want to say that's the name, but she puts out this tweet: Virtual's economy OS plus Hermes agent. So it's more so Hermes getting pushed than OpenClaw in certain instances. I think because Hermes is looking like it's more of a crypto native agent, I want to say. But plus Venice API equals a killer combo. So what did that make me think? I had to tweet this right away, right? Oh my. Could we be getting a Venice and Virtuals partnership? That would honestly be crazy. I was thinking that they was cooking up a partnership with Banker, but it could be possibly a three-way partnership. That should be a good way to do different things. I think Virtuals should partner with Venice as like the model providers, right? And then with Banker to give them apps, give them the agents get dApps and things like that, right? Get them their interface and things like that. I think that would be a huge explosion for obviously the three, but mainly Banker as well, right? What you guys think about that? Now, before we get into talking about Asai, and if you guys want access to what Asai brings to you and how it can be useful in your research, you guys gonna have to sign up for Patreon here. There's a post that's pinned that you guys can go ahead and look right into, and it tells you everything that you'll get with the terminal and how Asai manages things for you. You guys can see as an AI analyst, you guys can track smart money, you guys can track live watch list, token unlocks, catalyst, all of that. You guys can even watch the video here to see how things work. And of course, you do get a Patreon discount here. Use code ASI2026 for 40% off for your first month here. Then you can plug that in right in Patreon, get that 40% off your first month, test out the terminal, test out the community, all of that. And let's see what Asai has to say now. So I asked Asai what's its thoughts on Banker, Virtuals, and Venice as the agent infrastructure on Base. Now, you guys can see, essentially, if you guys are looking at it right now, these are three different, completely different animals. Treating them as interchangeable AI agent plays is lazy. Here's how they actually stack up on Base. Virtuals isn't an agent, it's a platform where agents get built and deployed and monetized. That's fundamentally different from position in the stack. Infrastructure layer, not individual application, in the last 72 hours have been substantive. As you guys can see, they get the Coinbase listing, real exchange infrastructure, not just a mention. Korea first base agent hackathon shipped with ACP and X402 integration and ARS, which is Autonomous Risk Standard, which is a new framework dropped by Google DeepMind, Microsoft, and Columbia University as co-authors. That's not a meme, it's an institutional validation of Virtuals agent infrastructure at the highest level. Now you got the, X402, which is the key integration here. Every agent on Virtuals become potential X402 endpoint. Callable, payable, composable, and up to $1 million monthly reward circulating on X right now. So the demand generation mechanism pulling users onto the platform. So short term is bullish, midterm it's bullish, long term is bullish. Asai loves Virtuals, right? Down 86% from his all-time highs. This has the most room to run if the Q2 roadmap delivers. Now, Banker, the agent. Banker is the first AI agent on Farcaster, not on Base, but it is. It's deployed across 8 chains, including Base. The token, also, the way I framed the question is what kind of confuses Asai sometimes, so I got to get better at prompting it, right? So, anyways, the token accrues values from swap fees inside the agent ecosystem. That's different thesis. Utility token tied to an individual agent's usage, not platform-wide growth. The X402 cloud announcement is the real signal. Deploy an endpoint, set a price, agent hit it, and pay automatically, right? The Banker, that's Banker sitting inside the payment rails for the agent economy, not the platform, not the compute layer, but the payment infrastructure for agents, right? So now the Banker account has been active. Yeah, we know it's been active. So right now, its conviction scores on Banker is neutral, right? Short-term neutral, mid-term moderately bullish, right? Long-term it's conditional. Depends on whether agents gain traction versus the platform level competition. So it could be, it's conditional on Banker. Now I'm bullish on Banker long term, right? The risk, Virtuals is the platform Banker might sit on top of. If Virtuals capture the platform layer, Banker becomes dependent rather than independent. Right now, VV. Now, since I questioned it wrong a little bit, actually is getting confused on here, but you can see here VV is a tokenized AI compute play on its own infrastructure. Stake VV, get prorated share of AI inference pipeline, revenue funds, monthly buyback and burns. Eric Voorhees built it. 1.3 million users, real subscriptions, API credit cross revenue, right? It's not a base infrastructure. I probably should have just asked the question a little bit better. It's different narratively. So let me ask it a little bit different and see what it comes up with for VV. Now I asked it its thoughts on Banker and VV as agent infra. I didn't ask it on base here. It actually gave a little bit, as you can see here. Virtuals is the anchor here, and then VV is the sleeping compute play here. VV is a tokenized AI compute. You stake it and you get perpetual rated share of AI inference pipeline. It's not an agent platform like Virtuals. It's an agent resource, different position in the stack, right? Eric Voorhees built this. Credible track record from Shapeshift, so it knows about Eric Voorhees. You know the real users. The compute narrative connects directly to AI agent infrastructure build out. NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft are all building AI compute capacity. VV is on-chain version of that, decentralized, permissionless, and fractional ownership. The TAM is real. If you guys don't know what TAM is, it is total addressable market cap, right? So that is why we like VV and we want VV to win. So that is the video for you guys. I know we made it a long video. I want to know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you guys haven't subscribed already yet, please do so. We're on our road to 30K subscribers, and I'll check you guys later. Peace.